The John LeBang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised. Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The John LeBang Show is now on the air. Welcome to another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations on the airwaves right here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're building up to the big Destiny War Part 3 episode that'll be happening in the second hour this week. We've got a detailed scheduling for you on the website. You can go to www.jlebang.com, find out the scheduling for the upcoming Destiny Wars, Shady and the Mystery Freaks, which was a pretty catchy name, I thought. I was pretty happy when I came up with that name. I mean, you know, Shady comes up with names too, we'll just say that. So we had the roof done here at the studio this week, and it looks pretty darn good. We're pretty happy with it. We're trying to upgrade the entire building as we're moving forward into 2018. We have a lot of big things coming up next year, and so we have to do some upgrades not only on the building but on the equipment. And so that was like the first step in all this. We're looking at a furnace now, hopefully to put that in within the next few months, so when we are fully blown into winter time around here, when climate change takes a turn for the worse, we'll be fully prepared with a brand new furnace, hopefully. We're a little short on money. The roof cost us a little bit more than we expected. There was some damage. I knew this building had taken a beating over time, and to be honest with you, I haven't had the funds to actually keep up with a lot of the maintenance. So we're now kind of getting around to doing some of that, and that was the first thing we did. We took that charcoal color. I mean, it's a dark color. Looks pretty good. In fact, right after they finished the roof, I honestly didn't think I liked it. I was like, doesn't look as good as I thought it would look. But now it's been up for, 4 days now, 3 days, 4 days. And this morning as I pulled in, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I see it now. It does look good. It does look new. It does look really great. So that's a positive sign. Like I said, the furnace is coming next. Looks like we might be having a partner here on the John LeBang Show shortly. A little financial help, maybe. We're going to convert the studio from just the John LeBang Show studio to more of a overall studio to bring in other radio talk show hosts as well as musical artists and either record them or they can podcast right out of this building here. We have some new ideas that are going to propel not only the show but the overall business structure and hopefully my career to the next level. So those are some very interesting things on our behalf. Now we've got a lot in the news to talk about, and being that we're only having commentary for really the first hour this week, we're going to kind of squeeze it all in for you. compact it down, maybe not get into the deep-rooted subjects, although there are some things out there that we should discuss that are more important than other things. But I brought up the roof being done on the building primarily to segue into this next story that I have. And it's, see, when they were doing the roofing, it was just too much noise, so I went outside. I figured I'd get some grass cut, do something while they were pounding on the roof, because it was annoying as hell. So, but it needed to be done. So I went out there and I'm getting ready to cut the grass, picking up stuff off the lawn, just, getting things ready. And I find a pair of headphones and I'm like, this is interesting. Pair of headphones. And I'm thinking, somebody's in my backyard. Now, who would be in my backyard? And who would go into my deep backyard? Because the workers who were doing the roofing on the house didn't need to go to my backyard for anything. Yet they went, 50 feet into my yard, and so I thought about it. And then I saw one of their guys nosing around the backyard. He was looking for his headphones. And I had them. And I questioned the guy. I was like, what are you doing, dude? And he's like, well, I'm looking for my headphones. And I'm like, okay. Didn't tell him I had them because I put them in my pocket. I'm like, well, why were you in my backyard, dude? Oh, I had to pee. All right. So I took his headphones, without his knowledge, of course, and I walked over to the foreman, and I give the foreman the headphones. I said, here, one of your guys dropped this in my backyard, and he was peeing in my backyard. If you have to take a leak, there's a couple things you can do. One, you could ask the owner of the house, can I pee in your toilet? Okay? Nobody pees in my backyard but myself, if I ever do it. I guess the guy had to go. So without any permission, he decided to just mosey on deep into my yard. This is where I have a little bit of a problem. I'm like, there's no reason, he had to hide away from all his coworkers so they couldn't see his small schmeckle. But I guess people like peeing in yards. Also, people like pooping in yards. Because I came across this story out there in Colorado Springs, where police are searching for a woman who has been seen repeatedly defecating in a neighborhood while out running. She's out jogging and she's maybe, bouncing the insides around and it's loosening her up, and then she has to go poop. So one day she's out there pooping, and a couple of kids happen to just wander up on her as she's dropping a deuce out there in public, right in mid-squat, turd hanging out and everything. The kids went running home to tell their mom, of course. That's weird, right? Here's the mom freaking out because the lady has to poop. But I guess this is not the first time, because this is going on at least once a week for the past 7 or 8 weeks. She's even changed her running times to compensate so she can get a poop in. Maybe she doesn't want to flush the toilet. So the cops, who are now been called in, are looking for this lady. I guess they can't find out who she is yet. All the surveillance. They've got her filmed. They've filmed her. Somebody filmed her pooping now. That's interesting. Of course, the cop, the Sergeant Jonathan Schicchetti, says it's abnormal to poop. Maybe he thinks it's abnormal. Maybe he's constipated. I'm not sure. But it's not really abnormal to poop. In fact, I don't know how many times. Maybe she's just got a bad bowel problem and she has to poop. And she's running. Do you want her to quit running? She's just trying to be healthy. She's running and pooping. What's more healthier than that? But have you ever been caught short in the middle of something and you just got to drop one and you just, there's nowhere to go. It's either you drop it wherever you're at or you soil your underwear. And you got to remember, Mom said, don't soil your underwear. Keep an extra pair of drawers with you in case you do. Did he have on clean underwear? Guess this lady doesn't. I mean, I don't know how she's wiping. Give me one of those leaves. Are there a difference in leaf, softness? I mean, is the oak leaf softer than maybe a maple leaf? Can you use other things as wiping utensils? Does she carry her own teepee with her? Because she knows she's going to drop it. There's a lot of questions to be answered. Just a lot of questions to be answered, and there's no answers coming. It's just a tragedy. Oh boy, folks. We've got public defecators. We also have Steven Tyler, 69 years old, suffered a seizure in South America there, they're canceling the rest of their tour in South America. That is Aerosmith. They put out a public statement, and hopefully he's going to be okay. Aerosmith is probably still the best rock band that has ever come out of the United States. Pretty close to the best rock band. They're one of the most successful, and we'd like to keep Steven Tyler around a little bit longer. I mean, they're still touring. I should have Derek Schomerstein on just to talk about this. Having that Steven Tyler and the Aerosmith are still touring, and they're down in South America, and I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be in his late 60s. 69 years old. He's 69. And he's out there touring. It's just amazing that these guys keep going. But there's no new music worth listening to, or very few, and they're not giving the good bands, like the bands we play on the John LeBang Show Music Hour, they're not giving those bands the chance to shine. They'd rather go with the established name or some rapper pop artist where they don't have to put a lot of studio time behind to make them sound good, quote unquote. A band sometimes takes days and weeks and even months to record and edit and produce an album. You got pre-rehearsals and all this other stuff. It's not the same for the artists that either get their music written for them, which a lot of the big name artists do. Quincy Jones was behind some of the biggest artists of all time. Yet you'd hear Michael Jackson's name before Quincy Jones. Speaking of Quincy, he wrote the Sanford and Son theme song. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, he was a very talented guy. So hopefully Steven Tyler is going to be okay, because we need to keep him around. We've had way too many musicians just pass off in the last few years, and I'd like for that to slow down, because we've got to we only have so many more years left of these guys, and it seems like it's starting to really wind down for all of these artists, and pretty soon we're not going to be able to celebrate any of them. I mean, who's going to be the last artist, the last big artist to survive from our era? Or from my era. I shouldn't call it our era, because there are people from every generation that listen to the John LeBang Show. So you can't say this era or that era, this generation or that generation. Maybe even centennials listen to the John LeBang Show. I'm not sure. I know millennials do. I sure as heck know Generation Xers do. You know, that generation that doesn't count. Again, in the news, I heard, 4, 5, 6 different references this week on this generation, that generation, the other generation. Never once I hear about Generation X. They just don't count Generation X. But, all right, folks, we're up against our first break as I'm rambling on here. We're going to get into a little bit more on the news front when we return. So don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show is going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing I'd like to discuss is the recent failure of the Republicans again to find some kind of compromise to repeal Obamacare. And actually, this latest failure is being touted as the final failure. This is their last chance at doing it. The last try at repealing Obamacare. And it was an utter failure. Just an utter failure. They can't get anything done on behalf of the people who voted them in office. These lousy Republicans. The charlatans, the empty suits up there in Washington, D.C., who only care about getting elected again. Yet they're not going to continually get elected the way things are happening because the American people are tired of the bull crap. We wanted the things that were implemented during the Obama administration pulled back, restrained, repealed. Yet, the empty suit, charlatan Republicans can't seem to get it done. They're now talking about a tax cut that doesn't seem to be a tax cut. It looks like a tax increase because they can't cut back taxes because they all want to spend the money that is brought in, that is taken from hard-earned, hard-working American people. And it's ridiculous that the people who elected these liars, these weak-spined Republicans to office, it's amazing that we have to put up with these guys. And a lot of us are going to vote you out again. And this time, we're not going for the big name. We're going to go third party, and you're going to watch a third party rise in this country. Because there's so many people who are extremely tired of dealing with the nonsense. We get a party in power that implements all these things that are not even, or I shouldn't say not even, that are either anti-American or they're crippling to either the economy or to the individual. And when we put people in from the opposite party, that supposed right-wing party, who's supposed to pull them back, pull all those things back, when you elect them, what do you get done? Nothing. All the major things that were implemented during the Obama administration are still intact. Sure, DACA was rescinded. Big deal. Trump is talking about working with the Democrats and Republicans on getting something worked out for that. Amnesty for more people. The tax cuts, which don't seem to be like tax cuts. The thing Donald Trump was talking about during the election, we're not even to see anything close to that. It's a long forgotten message that was only apparently there to get your vote. That's it. It's like the Obamacare promise. Oh, we'll repeal it. How many Republicans over the past 7 to 8 years have been on this train? We'll repeal it. We're going to stop the Obama train. And nothing. There's Obamacare. Almost another round has gone by while the Republicans have been in office, mind you. And we're going to have to suffer through another penalty for not having insurance because we can't afford it. And the ones who can afford it and aren't getting the subsidies, because those are the only people that seem to be benefiting from the Obamacare, is when somebody else pays for their health care. But if you don't have a subsidy and you're still paying into the damn thing through your insurance company, because now it's a form of government health care, when the government finally got involved and got in there and twisted things around, not only did it skyrocket like we told you it would years ago, before it was even implemented, but now it's not going to go away because the Republicans, who are the ones who promised to eliminate it, repeal it, get rid of it, dismantle it, are doing nothing. They can't agree on it. Lo and behold, they could agree during the Obama administration, 2016, just a year or so ago, a little over a year. They had something that they plopped right on President Obama's desk, and he vetoed it. Now, where's that bill today? Because that one worked, and you had less Republicans in power at the time. So why don't you take that bill, if you really want to repeal Obamacare, why don't you take that bill and send it back up to this president so Donald Trump can sign it? Because Donald Trump said he would sign it. And then if he doesn't sign the bill and he vetoes it, we know there's more shams going on. And we're starting to see, the banana is peeling away. The layers are peeling off this banana. And we're starting to see, if you didn't know already, we're starting to see the true face of the Republicans. And it's no different than the face of the Democrats. They have the same overall agenda. Overreaching power in their hands. That's what they want. Now, the Republicans would rather have it in the Republican hand. That's the only difference between them and the Democrats. The Democrats want it in their hand, yet they both want the same power. And when they have the same power, do they ever help you out? No. They don't mind helping out people from other countries. They don't mind dealing with other nation states and maybe financially helping them out or sending them military equipment. They don't have an issue with that. But hey, the American people, the ones that pay for it all, the ones that put the people in power that are in charge now, that are making the decisions that affect all our lives, they're being ignored again. Again. There was a time in this country when being ignored by a foreign power known as the King of England, taxation without representation, they were taxed for stuff, but they had no representation over anything. People got angry about that. And history shows they took extreme measures to prevent that from happening again. Yet we watch today, and outside of a handful of us who are angry about it, and we have an easier means of deposing these people in charge. It's not like we have to go to war over it these days. I mean, I hope we don't ever have to go over war over the government again. I mean, we do have the power to vote these people out. So the John McCains who say they're Republican but always vote against them when it's on important issues. The John McCains, the Mitch McConnells, all those people who have been entrenched in government for years, we need to get rid of them all and continually get rid of these guys until they come to heel, until they stop doing what's in their best interests and they start doing what is in our best interests. And in a nutshell, it's less taxes. In fact, no income tax would be the best for the American citizen, the individual. That way they can thrive and they can help the economy on their own without any government assistance. But you can't have it that way when you want everybody dependent on the government, whether it be for a job or for free income or for food or for national security, which we don't seem to have much of. Our Navy seems to be in disarray. They can't avoid being smashed into by oil tankers. You can't claim that the United States has won a war in a very long time. We're looking at dredging up more North Korea things, which would reinstate in some manner the Korean War. We're on the verge of that. Just a police action. Police action. They give you all these stupid little terms to make sure the Tootsie Rolls out there follow suit and they don't panic too much. They give you all these nice little terms. Police action. National security. When in actuality, they're just feeding you a bunch of crap. It's all garbage. And the leaders of this country, if you want to call them that, the people who control everything, the money supply, I mean, they're in bed with the oil companies and the pharmaceutical companies. You got everything all going through the government now. And they're all up there lobbying for this and for that and for the other thing. And do you ever hear of a lobby group lobbying for the individual? to have individual rights so they can have their constitutional rights, which are the only thing truly guaranteed. Yet they're being stepped on and taken away at every turn. And not many people do anything about it. As long as they're entertained, as long as they have a TV show to watch, you know, and the news has become entertainment too, and that's why we get stories that have little to no relevance to anything. They make up stories. And we'll get into that in the second half hour, like the Italian woman who married herself. Apparently that's some kind of growing trend, marrying yourself. And we'll get into that after the break here. We've only got about 30 seconds or so. We'll get into how the news manufactures stuff. We'll get into maybe some other things. Who knows? As we're rolling on through this hour, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to check out our sponsors and support them. And don't forget to go to our website, because we've got lots of great information there. We got prizes and all kinds of games and just fun stuff for you to enjoy your time on the site. We're going to take a quick break, folks. More on the flip side.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show is going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable minds who collaborate, must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're carrying on through this fine hour. Want to remind you that in the second hour we have our big special coming up, another one that we've been in the works on for a long time. It took 4, maybe 5 months to put together from start to finish, and I have to say it's pretty incredible. The music is some of the best stuff I've ever created, and the storyline should keep you captivated. The sound effects are great. I'm sure you guys will have a great time. That's in the second hour this week. Please check your local listings for times and stations. You can also go to the website, www.jlebang.com. There's going to be an entire list of show times for you to look through and maybe pick a time that works out best for you. Most of these are real easy to get to. You'll just be able to click on the link and head right to the station that's carrying it. You won't have to do anything special. Some of the sites you have to do a little bit more to get the sound to come out, but it's all good because there are lots of stations covering the John LeBang Show, and we had a lot of support, especially from some people that have participated in the show in the past and all the specials in the past. We've got some new characters we're introducing, so to speak. Want to also give a big thank you out to Andrea DiGilio for her part. She's carrying a fairly decent sized role in the next special, so we appreciate her coming in to make a guest co-star appearance. So, but enough with that. I know we could be talking about what's going on here with the show for hours. But yeah, I teased you. I gave you a little bit of a flavor there of what some of the things I wanted to talk about. And first, it's this growing trend of people who are marrying themselves. They're marrying themselves, it's crazy. Let me read you from the story. An Italian woman has married herself in a ceremony complete with white dress, 3-layer wedding cake, bridesmaids, and 70 guests. According to Laura Messi, the lady who got married to herself, she believes that each of us must first all love ourselves so that everybody can have their fairy tale life even without Prince Charming. Of course, the ceremony carries no legitimate weight because you can't marry yourself. There is no legal grounds for that. There's no way you can sign a contract with yourself. It's just a self-fulfilling fantasy, maybe? Now, she's not the only one. There's a growing trend, and they're calling this trend sologamy. Sologamy. And this is happening all around the world. People are getting married to themselves. Proponents of such ceremonies say it's about self-love and acceptance. What do you have to accept? We're all screwed up. See, we have too many Tootsie Fruits out there in the world. We are so screwed up. I can't even get through the story here. This lady, she's so screwed up from a relationship that ended a few years ago that she decided that she was going to get married anyways to nobody, herself. You can't do it. She had a 12-year relationship that ended 2 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? This woman is having some emotional issues. She's not right in the head. And all the people that showed up to party with her to celebrate her being herself and her marrying herself might be a bunch of fruitcakes too. I marry myself every weekend right here on the John LeBang Show. Nobody's throwing a party for it. I celebrate myself every weekend here. And more times than other times. Sometimes I celebrate so much it gets sticky in here. Now this lady says, if one day I find a man whom I can plan a future with, I'll be happy. But my happiness does not depend on him. See, I think this lady's a psycho. She probably was already crazy. And then when that 12-year relationship ended, you see, if a guy doesn't marry you after 12 years, then there's probably something you're not worth marrying. I mean, there's probably something wrong with you. Or something wrong with him. If you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship for 12 years and you're not married. And you're still young, if you want to start a family or whatever. But here we have another case of somebody who's talking about self-love, and she's living in a delusional world. And we have that. We are inundated with different variations of people who pretend to self-love themselves and throw these symbolic things, whether it be a ceremony here, maybe it's wearing a dress, I don't know what it might be. But we have all these people who are so mentally disturbed that they do these things to symbolically feel good because for some reason they're not satisfied in the real world with the way things are. And they have to celebrate that she's been alone, and they have to celebrate that she's marrying herself because nobody else wants to marry her. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people turn to the things they turn to, is because they had something tragic happen to them. They were already a little mentally unstable. They couldn't handle the events of the tragedy, and they just snapped. And maybe they feel alone. That's normal. We all have to deal with that sort of thing. But the people who celebrated this with her, 70 people showed up. I mean, I know a lot of people are just going to show up for the free food and the free party and the free booze. I mean, there's probably a DJ there. They had a photographer there. I mean, it was a party time. She was getting married to nobody. Because you actually need two people to get married. At least two. I mean, in some places you can have 3 and 4 and 5. But I'm pretty sure that there's nowhere out there that says you can marry yourself in any reasonable form. I mean, some people are going to try this sologamy. I don't know what the frick, man. People just make things up in their heads. The world goes one way, and they don't like it, so it's like, I'm just going to make my own things up in my life, and that way, hey, it's okay. You know, we'll just deal with life that way. I mean, I have my own ways of expressing my unhappiness with situations and stuff, and my ways of coping with life. But I don't like push it like it's, I don't make something fantasy and make it real. Yeah, no, I know it's fantasy world. If it wasn't fantasy world, it'd be happening in front of me. But these people, Miss Tootsie Fruit over here, that's what I'm going to call her, Tootsie Fruit. We got a lot of Tootsie Fruits out there. And this Tootsie Fruit decided, after her 12-year relationship ended where they didn't get married, she was going to marry herself because, hey, that's what happens. I shake my head at it all because it's just, it's hard to believe. But, the Tootsie Fruits go even further because now there's some Christian numerologists out there that say the end of the world has just been postponed. The Mayan calendar expired and nothing happened. Y2K happened, nothing happened. This other event happened, this. The end of the world just was postponed. God did something. Said, hey, I'm not wiping out the whole world yet. We're going to let evil prevail for a longer duration because I guess evil's not that bad. And I'm not, disparaging people who believe in God. I'm just figuring out, trying to decipher what's wrong with these Christian numerologists who think that we are going to believe some other artificial deadline of the end of the world when all the prior other deadlines never came to fruition. We don't believe you guys anymore. It's like the people who are now falling into the Mandela effect, the conspiracy peoples. There are some conspiracies that are real, and then some that are way off the frickin' deep end. And the ones with the Mandela effect, I don't know if you're familiar with that. We spoke about it once or twice. And that's where, people think that the particle accelerator out there in, Sweden or whatever, has affected time and dimension and everything, and things are bleeding in and out of different times and dimensions, and who knows, man. It's just a wacky concept that people who were wacky enough who didn't think E.T. existing on the planet, if they exist. Now, I'm not saying E.T. doesn't exist or it does exist or whatever, but if E.T.'s here, there's one of two things. He's either controlling everything, or he's not here. It's all made up. Because I haven't seen an invasion, and all these UFOs seem to be more like futuristic vehicles that we could have developed. I mean, that's the logical thought. Instead of E.T. traveling billions of light years to come to Earth for whatever reason, it's aliens, because it can't be our government or governments of the world developing weapons we've never seen before, developing technologies we've never even conceived in our meager existence. No, it's aliens from 400 billion trillion light years away that somehow have warp speed, and they get here and boom, and then they come to the planet and they just study us like lab rats. Where's PETA on all this? I mean, PETA should be at the forefront of this alien thing, shouldn't they? Because they don't like animal experimentation. Why would they like alien experimentation on humans? But we got these Tootsie Fruits all over the place, and it doesn't matter what it is. And it's like only 1 or 2% of us have have enough grounding in our lives to keep us centered enough to go through life, to avoid all the Tootsie Fruits out in the world that are out there to maybe not purposely derail us, but because they're in the way, because they've lost their minds, they get in our way or they take us out. I mean, it's hard enough. And there's only excuse me, folks, I've had something in my throat for a few weeks now. Hopefully it's not something too crazy out here, Probably dealing with allergies that time of year, temperature fluctuations, which we went, here it's climate change again here in Michigan. We went from 90 degrees, some near record heat just like 6-7 days ago, to now we're 42, 43 at night. Chilly weather. You can't even sleep with the window open because you wake up and your balls are freezing off. But that's man-made fault right there. Why aren't the aliens helping us with that, I wonder? Anyways, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hit the final segment after this. Stay tuned.
Where do you think you're going?
The John LeBang Show will be right back.
So grab a beer and a smoke and sit your butt back down.
Stay right here.
Powerful, epic music by Toothbox Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a little bit of a random show. We've been all over the board. It's been, we're closing in. We're on the end here of a long, arduous process, and we're a little worn out, folks. And it's been a hellacious last 3 months. We've been going 16 hours a day, 4 hours maybe a night of sleep, and we're back at it between the things we have to do to generate income for the show, as well as producing and directing and writing the next special, and then adding in the music hour, as well as continuing our normal broadcast. Sometimes you just get a little worn out, and I'm feeling a little loose today. I didn't want to be too serious on too many things, and I think I got a little serious there for a little while, but with all the things that we have done, it's just been a giant culmination here. Tonight's just been the end of a massive endeavor, and we really hope you enjoy the next chapter in our overall banger universe. It's an incredible story, and the music, and I know I'm going on about it. It's just I'm venting a little bit because a lot of this has been kept inside because I've been just working, and here we are. We're going to have a couple days off because this is it after tonight, and we do outside of a little promotional stuff for the Big Destiny Wars Shady and the Mystery Freaks special. We don't have a whole lot to do the next few days, and we're already in wind down mode. It's like Friday for everybody at work on a holiday weekend, and that's kind of how we're taking it. And so I just wanted to cover a whole bunch of stuff, kind of pack in a bunch of stuff in there for you. We got a couple more things before we get on out of here. We're not going to be having the Cool or Uncool for this week, or the Drop It Like a Deuce, because of all this other stuff going on. We have a video coming out later this evening on the Destiny Wars, and it's a little trailer featurette type thing that I hope you enjoyed. Shows off some of the back scenes footage, behind the scenes stuff, as well as gives you some just gives you a little bit of idea where the amount of work that went into this whole process. So with that being said, let's try to squeeze in these last little topics here. First and foremost, we have a Michigan mom that says she's going to be going to jail because she is refusing to have her son vaccinated. That's the mainstream headline on that one, or the mainstream local news. And this lady who is separated from the child's father, and the child's father wants the son vaccinated to go to school, and she doesn't, and they're having a legal battle, and the judge has ordered her to vaccinate her child, and so she's probably going to refuse to do that, and I don't blame her. There is no judge that can tell me what to do with my children if I'm not harming them, in other words. And not vaccinating a child is not harming the child. You are not harming the child by not vaccinating him. Okay? I don't care what there's a lot of people out there who vaccinate this and vaccinate that. You hear it promoted daily at my day job. We have signs on the wall: get your free vaccination through our company. They want us all vaccinated for some reason, and if it was for polio or something, it'd be one story, but it's not exactly for the diseases that have been pretty much extinct from our culture. It's for other reasons, apparently. And the problem I have, and I think that's where this mother's at, is there is an increase in autism, and it corresponds with the increase in vaccinations. And I know the medical community does not like to deal with this issue. They try to dismiss it. They try to discredit it. They don't want to give it any credence at all, because they're a business and they make money off these vaccinations, whether it's through private funding or government funding. That's regardless, they make money. And just like any other business out there, if there is information that might hurt your business, might give people an insight into what can happen by using your product, you're going to want to suppress that. It happens in all industries, and the vaccination industry, along with the pharmaceutical industry, which are kissing cousins of each other. Some would say they're the exact same industry, and it'd be hard to argue that. But these companies, because they're made by the same companies, these industries are doing everything they can to profit. And they don't care what's in their products as long as it passes FDA, and with enough lobbying going on, with enough shady deals going on, you can get anything passed. Now there's gonna be a lot of people say, well, the FDA is there to protect us. How many drugs has the FDA approved, and then later on, after the fact, we found out that it wasn't, or it shouldn't have been approved in the first place? Sure, it's not everything they've approved, but it doesn't matter. When you screw up once, you've got to have the stigma on you. That's the way it goes. You've screwed up. And with a federal agency, there's no room for forgiveness. Unlike your friend or your neighbor, or your sister, or your brother or coworker, who you can forgive for screwing up, these government agencies like the FDA, or any other for that matter, cannot be forgiven. If you can't prove for sure that something is totally safe, then it shouldn't be approved by the FDA. Now, should it? But as long as you got enough lobby money, you can get anything approved in the government. You just twist some arms and you pay some bills. That's all you got to do. The FBI director, new FBI director, says terrorist drones are coming here and it's imminent. So now we have the extra worry, if we don't already have the worry of North Korea nuking us, or some random terrorist shooting in this country, random stabbing, maybe a car running you over while you're out at some event. Now you got to worry about drones in the air, flying by terrorists to do whatever dirty deed they want to do with the drone. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. All the ways that people are finding to hurt us. And it's not even worth going out anymore. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations known as the John LeBang Show. I'd like to thank all of our affiliate stations across the fruited plain. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Don't forget also that the Destiny Wars Part 3 is coming out, Shady and the Mystery Freaks. If you're listening to a station that carries the show succinctly, one right after the other, you'll be hearing it right after this show, right after this hour. But if not, check the local listings at your favorite station for times and days. And if you can't find it there, you can always go to our website, and we've got the full list of show times right there, and links to take you there, so it's easy peasy for you. And with that being said, thank you for listening to the John LeBang Show and supporting us in every way possible. We are doing fabulous right now. The numbers are through the roof. I can't express how much gratitude I have for you, the listener, who has been with me from the very beginning, the new listeners who are showing up each and every week, the people that are somewhere in the middle there. I can't thank you enough. And with that being said, until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.